All right, radar and ATC services, kind of a broad overview. The more you fly, get hands-on experience with this, you'll understand more and more, especially the ATC services. Radar, we're just going to cover primary and secondary radar services. Textbook definition of radar: radio detection ranging, uses synchronized radio transmitter and receiver to emit radio waves, processes the reflections for display. Like I said, you got radar, you have primary and secondary. Primary is still used, but not as much as, or used as the same as secondary, but it has some flaws. In your secondary, you have, incorporates three components: a decoder, an interrogator, and a transponder. Decoder is part of the ground equipment which enables control to assign a discrete transponder code to your aircraft and is designated to receive altitude code. Your interrogator signal is basically your signal that's sent out to your airplane and then received by your transponder, sent back to the receiver or the antenna. Okay, as far as transponder goes, it's an electronic device aboard the airplane that enhances identity on an ATC radar screen. As you see, you have altitude on, standby and off. If you have altitude on, you can see your altitude if it's on, not so much. Standby is basically just a warming up period. You can turn that on as you're taxiing out, and off is off. You hit your ident button, which is going to be your blue button here, green I guess. Basically, it's going to make you pop up on the ATC screen a little bit more. 1200 as being squawked there is what VFR, what we're normally going to be anyway. You have three other codes you want to kind of avoid, which is going to be 7500, which is hijacking, 7600, which is communication failure, and 7700, which is emergency. Like I said, 1200 is standard VFR. Your transponders are already preset to 29902, so an incorrect altimeter setting is not going to have any kind of effect if you set in your cools in the window incorrect altimeter setting. Transponder is required in Class A within 30 miles of Class B, inside Class B, Class C, and ADIZ, like Joe explained earlier, Air Defense Identification Zone, and above 10,000 feet, excluding 2,500 feet AGL. All right, FAR radar systems. Or is there any questions on the transponder or anything like that?
No.
Good. All right. Airport surveillance radar basically is the direction and coordination of IFR traffic in specific areas. Uses ASR. Approach and departure uses this radar service, which provides relatively short range coverage. So you're coming in here at Clarksburg, and you contact approach or departure, you're going to be using the airport surveillance radar. You're not going to know the difference. They're just going to tell you to contact departure 21.15. And then air route surveillance is basically what your ARTCC, which we'll talk about a little bit, air route traffic control centers use, a little bit longer range radar. That's all I have on that. Yeah, here's your ARTCC. You see we're right here, so we're kind of, I think it's Indianapolis. Actually, I don't know what that is, I can't remember. But yeah, either depending on which way you're going, you'll get switched off, like Indy Center. Once you get up in your cruise flight, they send you off to them. That's basically what ARTCC is, and they are using their air route surveillance radar, which is more long range than your just air surveillance radar. Alright, on the syllabus here, VFR radar services, we're going to have radar traffic information, which is basically flight following. You can get clearance delivery or ground, contact them. Your safety alerts, which they can give you, is like a terrain. I do believe something's going to actually pop up on their radar if you get closer to the ground. Radar assistance VFR aircraft, which is vectors. They can kind of give you a vector you should fly. All this is workload permitting. Whether they do or not, you just kind of request that. Terminal VFR radar service. basic radar service, there was like 4 different types, with 3 class B, C, Tersa, like Joe talked about earlier. And the type, they're going to be published in the airport facilities directory to figure out what you need to do with that. All right, here in ATIS, this is what you're going to tune into at higher airports with more traffic kind of consumes time. They would tell you the weather every time, so you're going to tune this in, which, you know, that'll be in your airport facility directory or your approach plates or even your sectional chart of this. Put it in. It's going to give you your airport name, time, the current weather, magnetic wind direction, so you know what that is. Your visibility, temperature, altimeter setting, which is something you really need to get. It's one key thing you need to put in there. Make sure it's in 75 feet, like Zach said. Runway use and instrument approach, so you know what runway you're going to be probably taxiing to, and instrument as you're going to be coming back in. And they'll give you notes, which I guess you can check or what you already checked before in your briefing, kind of make sure they're the same thing.
They'll give you a local note.
Or yeah, local. They're not going to give you like FPC notes or anything like that.
They'll give you something that happens just at that field.
Yeah.
If there's a tower out or out with a light out around the field, VOR stuff, and mowing near the runway, manual equipment near the runway.
Don't we always have one
Letting
here?
out.
Isn't there always one here for the VOR?
Yeah, so VOR outage, taxiway closing, stuff like that. Just local stuff. Alright, flight service station, textbook definitions. ATC facilities which provide a variety of services to pilots, including weather briefings, in-route communication, VFR search and rescue. At this, your flight service station is going to be Bridgeport. You can see it's right here off the Nantucket VFR there. With that. You can file your flight plans or open up your flight plans like VFR. Open it up through there, like here you open it up at Elkins. Once you get up in the air, they're not like an IFR, you can open up your clearance delivery or ground before you take off. If you have a flight plan opened up, you need to contact them if you're going to close it out. You know, if you're going to change direction or you're not going to get there within 15 minutes, you should give a heads up to the nearest one that you're not going to make it in time. If you do not, within 30 minutes of your ETA, they will send out search and rescue, and which is something you don't want because sometimes they'll make you pay for all the stuff that
They start sending out flights looking for you.
civil
You're
air
gonna get a
control, all
bill.
that good stuff. They're going to look for it.
$1,000.
Yeah, they're going to bust you on that.
If they've only made a few phone calls,
It's
probably
not
just
like
get
an
yelled at.
IFR where they're going to just close it automatically when you land or whenever your time was expired. This is actually something you have to call and get taken care of.
Just ditch the plane at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. You can also contact through a flight service station, like if you're going to get en route weather, flight watch or something like that. EFIS, en route flight advisory surface. I do believe you got to be within, you have to be at least 5,000 feet to get that, up to 17,000, I believe 7,500 around there. Anyway, to get kind of weather, they have other services. They can help you if you get lost. They have very high frequency, all that good stuff in your aircraft. They can kind of help you. And you just got to look at VORs and other nav aids. Usually they're at the box at the bottom. That's how you know what the closest one you're going to be using. If you contact them up, Bridgeport, Flight Service Station, Elkins Flight Service Stations around here. Just so you know who you're talking about, what time VOR, altitude and all that, what you actually want.
So what frequency would I call Bridgeport on in this case?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question. 122.1, the R is receive only. So you're going to contact them, you need to tell them that too. You need to tell them 122, transmitting on 122.1, and I'm listening on Nantucket 116.2. And then you have to actually pull it out and listen to it. So you're going to talk to Bridgeport, Flight Service Station 122.1, and listen to 116.2. Not all flight service stations are like that. You just have to look. The T we replace with an R. It's the same thing. It's just trans.
If there's not an R next to it, it's two-way.
Yeah, you can do both ways. But the R can also, like I said, be replaced with a T. And in that case, they can only send out and they can't receive on that. But sometimes, mostly there's a couple different frequencies up here that you can use, so you don't have to worry about which one's which. Any questions on a flex service station?